Eat, sleep, bet, repeat. That's how we get down here on the opening line for EliteSportsBetting.com. I'm your host, Benny Ricciardi, and here we're going to take our first look of the week at the NFL games that are upcoming for, well, this Thursday and this Sunday. I think there's still Thursday games going on right now, right? We still got a Thursday game this week, Paulie?
Yeah, the Thursday game, it's Dallas at Chicago this week.
All right, so we do still have a Thursday game this week. So as you guys can see, whenever we get down early on these lines, I bring in our boy golf man, Paulie, from over at EliteSportsBetting.com. He's one of those people who makes lines early in the week, and I figure since he has his lines done early, I want to get him on early because usually you get a lot more value looking at lines early in the week than we do when we're making these same bets on Saturday. So first off, what's going on here, Paulie?
Nothing much, Benny. How have you been?
Not too bad. I mean, we were talking a little bit about our gambling weekends before we came live here. Hung out yesterday at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Saw our fearless leader Tommy G there as usual. He reserved the table for us, which was nice. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just tell the guy." I didn't even realize this, but you're not allowed to reserve tables. But when Tommy wants to reserve a table, they put a table on the side. So we walked in and they were like, "Oh, you're Tommy's friends, right? Here, we got a table for you." So I'm like, Jesus Christ, how much is this guy betting right now then? And they're bending over backwards for him. But either way, it was a good time. You know, my brother, a couple of my boys who went out there, we had some fun, we made some money, and we also lost some money. Thank you very much, New York Jets. But this week, we're going to try to make some money for our subs again. So, you ran your numbers yesterday. We got the lines that came out right now. Anything interesting that you see? Anything that's really standing out to you?
Yeah, there's a couple games that stand out to me. I mean, the nice thing is a couple places already put look-ahead lines, even that come out Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week, so you kind of get a head start and put some bets in then. But there's plenty of value still out there now. One that stuck out to me was actually the Baltimore Ravens again here this week, playing at Buffalo only as a 5-point favorite. And I think the reason for this is the fact that Buffalo here finally got their national televised game and beat Dallas on Thanksgiving, right? But I don't think Buffalo overall, team is going to be that good. You may see a similar result to what we saw a couple weeks ago when, Philadelphia Eagles went into Buffalo and just dominated them the whole game. I just don't know how Josh Allen is going to work against this Baltimore defense. And can the Bills, stout defense really, stop Lamar Jackson is the real question.
I mean, we haven't seen any defense really be able to stop Lamar Jackson. I mean, he just went and took on San Francisco. He took on the New England Patriots. He was still able to have pretty good games against both of those defenses. So I have a lot of respect for this Buffalo defense, but I'm kind of on board with you right there. I mean, to me right now, the Ravens look like the best, most well-oiled machine in the league. So only having to lay 5 for them is not that bad. And one of the other offshoots of this, I think the Dallas Cowboys just absolutely suck.
Yeah, I would agree with that at this point, yes.
I've been saying this since I watched the Jets beat up on them because, again, I'm a Jets fan. I watch every Jet game from start to finish. There was nothing about that game where they played Dallas that I said, you know what, this is a pretty good football team. The Jets are 3-1 against the NFC East this year, with the only loss coming to the Eagles, the one team that already kind of beat up on, on Buffalo. So really, I mean, when you look at Buffalo, like you said, they lost to the Eagles in that game and, they beat Dallas. That's great. Dallas isn't that good. So I don't really think we should be giving them as much credit for beating up on Dallas as they are. Now, granted, I'm not saying Buffalo sucks, but I just don't think they're in the same league as Baltimore. So I actually really like that bet. What else are you seeing that looks kind of off to you here?
Yeah, there's 2 others. The next one would be the Kansas City Chiefs, which currently in the market sitting at +3 at New England.
Mm-hmm.
This line was 4.5 a couple days ago on the look-ahead lines, which is where a bunch of the subs, snagged the line with me as well when we talked about it a couple days ago. But at +3, I see this line going to be dropping, settling around +2, +2.5 by the time it closes. We just saw New England have issues with Houston this week. So I know there's always a talk about, Belichick and the New England Patriots bouncing back after a loss.
Mm-hmm.
But they tend to struggle against mobile quarterbacks. And they're going to have another mobile quarterback this week in Mahomes. And we've seen that he has been able to, not make mincemeat of the New England secondary, but New England's had a problem stopping Mahomes in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't really see how New England's going to be able to keep up with them on the offensive side if Mahomes is able to throw a couple of those bombs against the New England secondary.
Yeah, that's honestly, to me, that's been the New England Patriots' problem this year is they've always been able to score points, and then they've never really had a defense. This year, it seems like it's the complete opposite. Is they're able to stop anybody or at least slow anybody down, but they're not able to put up points like they used to. So when you're looking at these games, like, yeah, maybe you're not getting, 35 or 42 points out of the Kansas City Chiefs this week. But if they score 25, 24, I don't see how New England keeps up with them.
Yeah. If the Patriots, get down, let's say 10-3 or 14-3 against the Chiefs, how are you going to keep up? Because, Mahomes is, not going to be shut out the rest of the game. He's going to keep on putting points up, right? I just don't see how New England's going to be able to, keep their offense scoring points, even against a Chiefs defense, which isn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the beginning of the season where this team was kind of light on wide receivers. And then all of a sudden they had Josh Gordon, and all of a sudden they had Antonio Brown. Well, Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown are gone now. They're not coming through the doors. And other than Julian Edelman, I mean, you have a whole bunch of, like, journeymen and random draft picks. And, maybe N'Keal Harry winds up stepping up and being what they thought he could be when they drafted him. But it's taken him a while to come along too. Rookie wide receivers, like, if you look around, there's just not enough weapons on this team for them to put up points. So I'm on board with that one as well, because I don't think they're going to completely shut down the Kansas City offense. And at this point, I don't think that New England can put up enough points to kind of stay in some of these games. So you said there was two other ones, right? So what's the other one that you had right now?
Yeah, so the last one would be I think the Sunday night game next week is going to be Seattle Seahawks at the LA Rams.
Okay.
So the Seahawks are currently a 2.5-point favorite on the road there, and I really like that one. Seahawks are just a much better team overall, and you have a huge coaching advantage here with Pete Carroll over, of course, the brainchild over there at the LA Rams, right? our favorite coach in the league, right? I think.
Yep. So that's one of those things that elite mafia invented. That he's really not that good of a coach.
Yeah, and you have to look at, like, Russell Wilson playing another primetime night game, and I think that we already liked Seattle for tonight's game, Monday night game against Minnesota. Whereas if they do indeed win against Minnesota tonight and it happens to be convincing, you may see that line flip on the other side at 3 and end up being like 3.5. So I really lock it in now at 2.5, just because of the fact that the Rams are also very, very possible out there to, put a clunker out there, as we've seen in many matchups this year. When Jared Goff gets pressured, things go south very fast. And I think the Seahawks can actually do that, to where I think, this could not just get out of hand. It's still a division game, but I'd more see this line around, Seahawks -4.5, Seahawks -5 in terms of what I think the line should actually be.
So this is actually a good situation to talk about here, because we do have them playing tonight, and we're talking about the look-ahead line for them for next week. How much do you think, and what would need to happen for something to affect, your view on this game? I mean, like, obviously Russell Wilson gets hurt tonight. That's going to change your view on next weekend. But, if they go out and lay down a clunker, if they go out there and play really well, like, how does that affect what you're looking at for the look ahead? Because, I mean, all the other games we already have, in the bank. This is one that what happens tonight could change your opinion on what goes on. So how do you deal with that when you're putting in your early bets?
Yeah, typically a 1 week result isn't going to affect how I handicap the game. It might move it maybe a half a point in terms of what I think, but unless there's a major injury somewhere, the thought process is not going to change, because you're still going to be dealing with the same players, same coaches, the same type of situations. So there really isn't an adjustment. So that's why I always like getting down early. So a lot of the times I'll fire Thursday, Friday, or Saturday for the next week's NFL action. I may look ahead the headlines you may see at books, because you can find some lines that, you get some extra value by putting it in ahead of time before the market kind of adjusts, because you happen to see a result on the weekend.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we want to do this and get this done early in the week, because, things like that do tend to happen. The only thing that really should affect the line like that would be if there's a major injury to one of the major players. If something like that happens, then you obviously got to rethink what's going on here. Like I said, if Russell Wilson goes down tonight, that's going to change the way a lot of things go for next week. But other than something like that happening, I don't think that, you really should be worrying too much about it. If anything, I think it actually helps, the line from the public move a little more, because the public tends to be, worried mostly about recency bias and what just happened and what they just saw over the weekend. So like you said, if you can get down on it at 2.5, you may wind up seeing this line at 5 by the end of the week or something like that. So you're going to be a lot happier if you're getting there where you get a win on a field goal where everybody else is going to be on the wrong side of it. So that's why we do this. That's the whole point of this exercise. That's why we try to get down here. So, Paulie, I want to thank you for taking some time to join us here on this cold Monday. I don't know where you're at. I'm in New Jersey. It's snowing outside right now. It's freezing, pretty much cold as balls, even with the heat on in my house. That's why I'm wearing a winter hat today. It's definitely not a good day here. So thanks for joining me and talking a little bit of NFL. So for us over here at Elite Sports Betting, this has been another episode of The Opening Line.